All right, today, class, we can learn about so many things before this 100 Thieves Immortals matchup. So what would you like to learn about?
Can we hear about Doublelift and Bjergsen?
We already heard that story.
What about Breaking Point again?
Okay, Raz, we've been over this. Breaking Point is something that you need to experience in its existing form. It's an experience.
How are babies made?
Nope.
No,
No? Yeah, nothing. Okay, well, I'm gonna choose then, and we are going to be learning about 100 Thieves jungler Closer. Draw my LCS and TCL life. Closer. Turkish jungler Can Closer Çelik began his career in 2017 as Kira after the Death Note character. Later, he changed it to Closer, like a closer from Suits or in a law profession. Alongside players like Abadaga, Broken Blade, and Armut, Closer was a rising TCL star. In 2019, he won TCL and qualified to Worlds with Royal Youth. Although Royal Youth were unfortunately eliminated at Worlds by Clutch Gaming, behind the scenes, Closer impressed in scrims and on stage while at the event. On Golden Guardians in 2020, Closer also impressed LCS audiences on a team that routinely punched above their weight towards the end of that summer split, culminating in a near miracle run through playoffs. The core of that Golden Guardians roster, including Closer, was then picked up by 100 Thieves for 2021. Closer reunited there with former teammate Abadaga that summer. In their upset 3-0 sweep of Team Liquid to win the LCS title, Closer was then named Finals MVP for his impressive Viego and Lee Sin performances. 2022 was another strong season for Closer and 100 Thieves, but they fell just short of the LCS title twice, losing in 2 consecutive finals 0-3. Now, in 2023, Closer looks to take on the LCS again and re-establish himself as the league's best jungler with a new roster of veterans and rookies. And that's the end of our story for today.
Yay!
Oh, read it again! Read it again!
I need to go to the bathroom.
Mark, I told you to go to the bathroom before we started, but since you have to go to the bathroom, you know what? We'll take a break. Let's hear from some players on who they think their breakout stars in LCS this split will be.
I think the breakout player for this year, possibly Busio.
Alan, my support Busio.
I think maybe Busio.
I think he's extremely talented and very hardworking, so I just think that he'll have a pretty good breakout year.
I think on my team, obviously Tenacity. He's really insane individually. He's just a good guy as well, so that helps with the team environment.
Tenacity. Actually, it's not really a good answer. I don't think Tenacity is going to be that good, but I'll go to Tenacity.
I think Prince will be really good. I think me, Busio, definitely. And I'm excited to see Jan actually. I think he has a pretty good mindset towards the game and like learning and improving. And I also think he's a very aggressive player, which is like a good starting point.
Ayla has not many people know him, some people know him in the scene, but you have really good teammates around you. By proxy, you should also do well.
Yeah, probably the imports on FlyQuest. I think Viktor and Prince will probably be breakout stars for sure. I mean, they played well in Korea, so I feel like they should play well in NA.
I think maybe like Gory. I feel like he's not as super hyped, even though he's like really good. And yeah, people aren't really talking about him, so.
Anyone on CLG.
Hello and welcome back to the Riot Games Arena, everybody. Kobe, it feels so good to be back. I haven't been here in the
I
spot
can tell
since, like,
because you're stopping the whole stage here, baby. Let's go.
I took my shoes off. I
can
am
feel
in full energy mode for the last 2 games of the week.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this. Obviously, both of these teams, you want to, kind of rewrite what happened yesterday. Get some wins up on the board. 100 Thieves, it came out very close game versus Cloud9. Especially the 1v1 that kind of started that whole snowball coming down to the the last auto. So I know this team is super hungry. And then, of course, Immortals also got a nice early lead for themselves. That was then taken away by, I guess, what's become the comeback kings so far of the LCS and TSM, taking that win from them. So right now, as you can see, we have reports of those latency issues from the players. So we're going to get those ironed out now, so we don't have to have a pause in the middle of the game. That's
strategic.
The plan,
very, very strategic. I like it, Kobe, very much. But I think especially when we're only on day number 2 of the LCS for this season, there's a lot of things to think about as these teams are evolving every single time we see them take to the stage. A lot of eyes were on 100 Thieves, and you saw that veteran prowess come through, and exactly what you're saying, that control of the early game, but then losing things a bit as time went on against, I mean, it was the reigning champ, so, you know, there's that.
I've at least been excited watching some of the Immortals content that they've been putting out, how much this team likes playing with each other. Revenge there on your screen, you know, taking it into his own hands, doing some vlogs with Kenvi, trying to get people introduced to his personality, you know, putting him in the forefront. It was a perfect game to do it as well. You know, Kenvi, all of the hype basically for him, which was most of his career, was all built on 100 Thieves, you know, under this organization. And for him to be going up against the kind of new hype of the Tenacity and Busio, some former teammates of himself, now on stage, I feel like it's got to have some extra added weight to it, because Kenvi has not found success since he has separated from the 100 Thieves organization.
And he really wants to step back into that level of hype that he was experiencing early on. It is hard to evaluate players when they come in the middle of a season. But speaking on that...
BRTT fan, let's go!
Hey, there we go. I always like seeing the variety in the signage in the audience for sure. But looking at those on the stage, that is one thing that's exciting about this, because we've talked so much about Tenacity and his come up through 100 Thieves Next to 100 Thieves Academy, and now coming into the LCS full time. But for those that had been tracking the development scene for quite some time, it was those two names together, Tenacity and Kenvi, that really started igniting their identity, pouring resources into that portion of the map, and having a lot of very showy matches for themselves early on. And now we get to see them for the first time in the LCS face off against each other.
Yeah, we'll see if there's some top lane camping going on. Revenge definitely a carry player himself, so see what type of strategy Smithy and Immortals have been able to cook up. Obviously very famous himself. Jake transitioning into a coach has definitely been one of the more fun things with me, because I play a lot of other games with him as well. Jake is very prolific. He plays all kinds of video games, you know, all the time, and he's you know, comes back and tells us stories of how it is being an old man coach nowadays, trying to teach the youngsters.
I feel like it's very fitting with what his personality was as a player as well, because he was always that player to enable the team and really make everyone look good and push them across the finish line. So now taking all of that experience into coaching, as he has over the recent seasons, and now back on the LCS stage, I'm sure it's converting into some interesting takes for a team that's really still developing.
Yeah, I mean, Smithy's got some of the biggest LCS plays of all time in my mind. You know, some underrated ones, like his Kindred ult on the Dragon to stop the smite at MSI and then retake it. We might have a little bit longer of a time fixing these issues than we expected, so we have a eyes on Busio to put a spotlight on one of these newer and younger players on 100 Thieves. We can roll for you now.
I've been following LoL Esports since maybe season 3. Actually, me and my dad came down in season 3 to watch World Finals here in LA, and it just came full circle. Now I'm here as a pro player. If you told me when I was 9 years old, when I was watching World Finals, that I'd be a pro player, I would not have believed you. But at the same time, as I got older and older, and I kept getting higher ranked, and I did good in amateur, I could see it coming.
Here comes Busio!
I was never really playing just for fun.
The most valuable prospect looking to make a difference here. Ignite takes him down!
I always got a lot more dopamine from ranking up and getting better than simply just playing the game.
Are you kidding?
But I don't really feel like I've succeeded yet. It's only really success once I do good in LCS. It is in itself an accomplishment, but I wouldn't be satisfied with that. and I actually want to be a good player that is a staple of the LCS. It's 2 weeks to the season starting. Right now I'm out here hiking to get myself in the right mindset for scrims today. We're here at the Culver City Stairs, and this is a hike that I used to do almost every day in Academy. It's something that helped me a lot to focus before scrims, and now that I'm an LCS starter, it's only more important to keep that same energy. When I first found out I'm getting promoted to LCS, of course I was extremely excited and extremely grateful that I got promoted so quickly. And when I found out my lane partner was Doublelift, I thought that was just amazing to play with one of the GOATs, the most experienced player. I was really shocked when my GM messaged me that Doublelift really wants to play with me, because I know he definitely had offers from other teams, but he chose 100 Thieves for less money because he was really interested in me. Thinking about how he has 8 trophies is definitely overwhelming. No player except for Bjergsen is even close to that. And it's just insane that he's accomplished so much. He's generally an ADC that's much more pressuring to play with in and out of game, but him believing in me really helps me. I played studio stage games in Academy, but it obviously wasn't the same as LCS, and now that it's coming soon, I feel the pressure, but it's also way more exciting. The expectation is high, being a rookie on such a strong roster, but my job is just play my game, improve, get comfortable, and try to win a championship.
The expectations are high, but the game is on as we get into Champion Select for 100 Thieves versus Immortals. I want to see what they end up doing, especially on the 100 Thieves side in draft, since we had very unique things done yesterday.
This is actually pretty cool too, because we are seeing top lane bans on the analyst desk. They were talking about, oh, if top lane is so important, why aren't we banning top lane 1, 2, 3? Well, 100 Thieves are now banning top lane 1, 2 at least here, with Tenacity not wanting to do the blind Jax again. Jax and Fiora both off the table. We're gonna quickly whittle down here on this top lane pool. The Aurelia, the Cassante floating around here, and if you spend so many bans on top lane, then that does mean the bottom lane feared duos will be up. No Yuumi ban, no Zeri ban. You could do, Zeri Lulu's type of stuff here. Lucian the only thing so far.
And it makes you wonder what these teams are going to prioritize when it comes into game, because we've mentioned that both of these top laners are willing to carry. They're willing to step into different roles. And for Revenge, he doesn't have the Fiora that he played yesterday. Will have to pilot something else. But looking how that is going to open up the rest of the draft, as we do get a little bit of attention spent towards that bot lane with the Lucian takeaway. Ryze has only made it through 1 game so far in the LCS.
This is actually just so funny to me. Fudge was asking, all right, fine, why aren't you banning 1, 2, 3 top 100 Thieves? Ban 1, 2, 3, top lane is OP here. This puts so much pressure on Tenacity's shoulders then. If you're gonna spend all your bans up there and you have first pick, what is it gonna be?
Really get to switch things up. Thank you, Fudge, for putting that energy into the universe and it now taking prominence in our 4th game of the day. But as you called out, Kobe, Zeri ends up being the first lock-in.
Yeah, and I like going this route with it, because then even if they try and do something, to Lulu or to Yuumi, you still have the other one. It's not like you're never losing both of those. So Zeri will have a good enchanter partner to go with, and it will be a carry, scaling AD carry for Doublelift. I saw yesterday, people are wondering, what the hell? You brought back Doublelift, one of the most prolific carry players of all time, and you put him, on a poke champion? Give him one of the best carry champions of all time, the pentakill machine that is Zeri. So very hyped to see how this actually plays out. Immortals, good response here though for tactical. Sivir, of course, wave clear machine. We've seen it 3 games already today, and one of those games got to 500 CS and won the entire thing. Looks like it is going to be a Sivir Lulu split with what I'm assuming will be Zeri plus Yuumi.
A very different look for the bot lane of Immortals compared to yesterday, where we had the Draven, we had the Pike. And I do respect the decision of both of these teams in the draft prior to bring out some of those unique picks, but now see what Doublelift can do on this late game carry, see what he can do when he's got the cat on the back.
Yeah. Doublelift said, I want to play with Busio. That's why he wants to join, one of the reasons he wanted to join 100 Thieves. And now Busio is going to play as close as you could possibly play with him, right on top of him with that Yuumi. And they're going to round this out with some initiation on the front line for them. Whenever I see that with a player like Closer, though, I get a little worried. Closer is such a good playmaker and carry player. You know, the Viego comes to mind, the Lee Sin comes to mind. Those types of champions, 100 Thieves are taking a chance here while building their composition for an extremely strong front to back, carry playstyle based around Doublelift. It does mean they're going to put Closer on just one of these more boring, stable tanks here with the Sejuani. Could be flexed up the top side for Tenacity. I think that would be very funny after the four top lane bans that we started out with, but we shall see.
I think even yesterday, while it didn't culminate into a victory, still seeing a nice Baron steal on the Viego, you see what Closer can do. But a lot of people have been wanting to see Closer in positions where he doesn't have to make those late crazy plays. So right now,
it would be nice
saying,
not to
hey,
have to make a Baron steal to come back. Yeah. I agree.
give him a little break on how many weights they put on his barbell and say, okay, maybe focus early and trying to set up the rest of the team. But now getting into the last stage of bans, Sylas been so popular on both fronts for sure.
Yeah, Kassadin also drawing a ban here. So we successfully are banning the majority of the Seraph's Rod of Ages users now for the mid lane here for this game as we start to whittle down. See if they pinch anymore, because it looks like they're both assuming, it's just full bottom lanes plus jungle. The most standard, by the way, for the last like 5 years drafting route, drafting bottom lanes and junglers first. And so we're just going to pinch down here on these mid lane pool, what they don't want to have to play against. Ablazeolive doesn't want any part of either the Sylas or the Akali, part of the kind of two that ruled the world's meta.
This being such a popular way to approach the draft because of how important champion selection is for their solo lanes, really considering that matchup, and with a lot of the top lanes specifically taken off of the table when it comes to the bans, there's no reason to have to lock those in. You're not saying, hey, Kasante's up, let me try and get this before anyone else takes. So now see what the teams end up electing going into.
A little shout out there to Kenvi with the Belveth hover. And it is going to be continued structure for team fights. So let me tell you, this game is probably not going to be a quick game. I'm assuming this game is going to go the long haul. Everybody in this one building up for front to back team fights, and it's just going to be an arms race. See who can actually execute on it better. Azir picked up here on the side for Ablazeolive to be able to try and supplement that Sivir's late game carry. Ooh, here we go. A little wrinkle with the Renekton. A hint of early game here. With Renekton and Sejuani, that is a massive 2v2 threat in jungle top lane. So with all of the top lane bans, we finally get the payoff here. I feel pretty happy about this, where we actually are going to have some action on somewhere on the map early on in this game. Because Sejuani Renekton is one of the most fearsome 2v2s you can get. It's instant Renekton stun, which very quickly stacks up the Sejuani stun, because each one of the empowered W swipes from Renekton also counts as an auto attack that can instantly stack your Sejuani stun. So those two can definitely stun lock somebody from 100% to 0. And it looks like Revenge will pick up the solo route here, play that Ornn for the team, try and just hold on for the early stages and scale up with everybody else.
Yeah, so you already mentioned how both of these teams are looking towards the late game, which I do feel like can sometimes happen when teams are coming off of a loss on the first day. They put more eggs in that late game basket, so they don't feel like they're lacking resources to pull off the victory if things don't go early in the early game. But looking at them holistically, which team are you favoring? What specifically are you looking at as the win conditions?
I'm favoring 100 Thieves here. I like the look of investing early priority Doublelift on Zeri and grabbing that Yuumi for him before the Yuumi gets nerfed on the next patch, just in time here. So Busio, he went from support Azir to support Yuumi. Probably two of the most different that you could possibly have. Very, very different gameplay here. And I like the fact that they can have some lane priority somewhere here with the Renekton Sejuani combo into an Ornn, a Wukong, 2v2 on top side. It should be 100 Thieves. Being able to get advantage up there, turn that into an early Rift Herald, start taking turret plates, and then you can kind of snowball that gold lead so that you are the first team to scale up into stronger 5-on-5s and cut off Immortals before they can actually get there and start upgrading Ornn items.
And for both of these teams, the pressure is on to try and come out of week number 1 of the LCS season with a victory. And we'll see how it all ends up falling through as we take to the Rift.
Instead of calling them scaling comps from now on, we'll just call them the let them cook comps.
Let them cook.
Both teams are cooking though, so if you let both teams cook, then then what happens? Who has the tastier meal at the end?
What kind of things do you like to cook, Kobe?
I don't cook at all. I microwave, or I go out to eat. Or is Grubhub still a sponsor? Grubhub's a sponsor. There we go. Boom! Grubhub. There we go.
Boom sets. I mean, technically, you can make like, what is it? Little cake, mug cakes and things in microwave. So is that cooking if you use a microwave to make something, but you did have to add individual ingredients?
I'm gonna go for a yes for full credit. Honestly though, I even count cooking in the Easy Bake Oven as cooking, so
yes.
I say full credit to anyone who even tries.
The little brownie pies there weren't too bad. I hope both of these teams got nice and fed with all the nutrients before they got into this game though.
I did like the 100 Thieves cookies that Cutie Cinderella actually cooked yesterday in anticipation of 100 Thieves win in game number 1. Hopefully there's still some left over and Doublelift and Busio will be able to eat up.
Yeah, I like it because we're, as we say, a bit of chunk down. This is kind of what you expect with a lot of the way that these lanes are coming through. There's lots of pokes on both sides, but yeah, if you win, you get the cookies and you get to celebrate yourself. If they lose, they eat the 100 Thieves cookies, saying they fed me in game, so now they feed me in real life. So yeah.
You had it all planned out. Genius. Doublelift here going with the Cull start, expecting the massive farm lane as everybody else is as well. Gets a lot of value out of this with the P shooter as well. So no problem here with the fight over minion waves bottom side will probably not be super interesting, at least until the junglers complete their full clears. I do expect both junglers to just do full clear routes all the way down through the bottom. Maybe then there will be a little bit of action down there, but up until then, Closer actually going to make a pass through mid lane in his full clear.
Ablazeolive here in the center kind of senses it coming, starts to retreat into the bush, and no particularly aggressive warding early on, and now have some intel on where Closer is.
Can he zone him off the cannon? That's the real question. Cannon! Oh yeah! Cannon down. Bjergsen able to get the laugh here. Even though Ablazeolive gets some damage on him, it's all worth it. You denied a cannon with the pass through there, so Closer basically gets credit for that cannon denial. Huge stuff from 100.
That's what we call him Crawl Closer for, right? Not the mega plays, just saying, here, you got the cannon over there. One thing, because top lane was so shifted, the way that the draft went, and Renekton coming through, what do you think of Tenacity specifically being on this pick, and maybe what we can see from Closer in that regard?
Yeah, I have a lot of confidence in him trying to help out in getting jungle control. Whenever you have a top laner that's going to have guaranteed push like this, Renekton into Ornn, love it when they would go. He didn't actually take his timing now, but you see the little ping here. Whoop, this ward over by Krugs to get some vision for your jungler. Second spawn of Krugs, they will see.
Closer going in, a flash away from all of this. Was after the flash from Closer as well, so trading summoners can be still standing by only for a moment.
All right, put a little bit of extra pressure towards the mid lane. Ablazeolive gonna have to be a tiny bit more conservative. Not going to have the biggest impact on this lane quite yet, but I do like setting it up for this kind of top triangle of the map of possible plays for Closer. Now he can look towards his Renekton and towards the Azir here in trying to accomplish plays. And basically what they're saying is Doublelift and Busio, continue to farm your hearts out down there, stack up that Cull, and we'll try and get some advantages and transition over.
Keep control of the wave as possible. Ward really paying off here, so Tenacity having that intel.
I will say the placement is slightly less than ideal though. little bit right there, so it's not on the actual wall. See the shadow there, the fog. Doesn't see the actual end of the Krug camp. They saw Kenvi kind of peek out, but they don't have the exact perfect timing. Closer, though, comes up, ensures that Tenacity gets the wave in, and will be able to get his reset for his first purchase.
And meanwhile, over on the bot side, wards in the favor of Immortals because of how they were afforded the opportunity to set up. Dragon just now spawning. And with the way that 100 Thieves bot lane are playing in that way where they're on their own, keep safe, I don't expect we'll find the play very soon for that.
Everybody just chilling down here. Farm war is going pretty even. Doublelift is going to end up with more CS at the end of this wave than Tactical has, so slight advantage there for him. Plus, since he started the call, obviously, he's going to have that extra gold generation from it as well. And jungle camps ending towards bottom since they both started on top side. We're going to have another round of these full clears ending up on this dragon side of the map. Nice wards from Immortals. These are the gatekeeper wards towards bottom side. Both entrances into the river. So any sort of shenanigans coming over to try and set up for dragon will be seen. Kenvi gets the ward over the wall to watch the blast cone as well.
Throws it back, starting up on this dragon closer is nearby. And I mean, if you're basing it on the information that 100 Thieves has gathered, they don't really have intel exactly by seeing him on the map where Kenvi is, but maybe worried now at this time.
Yeah, with both lanes pushing, both mid and bottom. Nice job here by Kenvi. 2,000 health left on the dragon. As Closer's fishing around, time is running out. And it is going to be smote away. There's no smite for Closer, so even if he blast coned in there, wouldn't be able to yoink it. And Kenvi's able to get it and get out.
And that was afforded by that gatekeeping ward positioning, really keeping control on that side, knowing exactly where the rest of the power is thrown. But here in mid lane, Olive getting chunked down just a tad as Bjergsen throwing his ultimate out for that damage, level 7 above Ablazeolive.
Yeah, these are what the scaling games look like. This is what we talked about in Champ Select. We're going to be ulting minion waves for the extra 30 seconds on the recall. Every wave you push gets you a little 30-second window there. Closer going to come by, help Bjergsen finish that one off. And the early push and recall for him.
Last cone used. So this has to be pretty much in line with what you're expecting, though, right? Nothing too crazy in terms of proactivity early game because they're wanting to play safely.
I mean, we said this is going to be a cooking stream, actually, today. So, game number 4, LCS cooking stream live in front of you.
Yeah, you know, there are a lot of materials on the Rift, I feel like, that could actually be used for cooking. You could get a little more gruesome if you get into some of the camps, but...
Hopefully, we get a little bit of spice on this Rift Herald spawn. Coming up here in 10 seconds because Immortals have brought over Lulu and Yuumi takes a lot longer to roam. So should be Immortals power move. They've got the support roam for themselves for this Rift Herald. I like it. Trying to head off the Renekton right now, though they walk over a ward. So Tenacity does know the Lulu is lurking.
We're on by, and you can see Tenacity and Doublelift both accumulating a decent amount of gold. Immortals starting up this Rift Herald. 100 Thieves in the vicinity, that leaves opportunity to make the play down bot, throwing down the ultimate, and Tactical lost for this world. First blood traded back, though.
Yeah, the tower heated up fully and was able to finish off Yuumi. 100 Thieves, though, I like the call from Doublelift and Busio. They want to make Immortals fully pay for sending the Lulu up there to get the Rift Herald. So it's not just going to be a turret plate price for the Rift Herald, which is the normal price that you're going to pay for it. And Doublelift and Busio are going to make them get an extra kill, get the first blood money, and 2 turret plates taken. So Doublelift here getting very rich very quickly. This is just what 100 Thieves fans want. They invest the early pick into the Zeri. He's on a scaling carry pick here for them. So Doublelift should be able to have a lot more to say about this game. Here's a look at the call. Yuumi ultimate, great under tower here. Exhaust is on Busio, trying to take the turret. He dodges out on the boomerang. The little bit of the walk there, and getting hung up on the minion. I still thought that was very, very close to having enough HP, but with the tower fully heating up there, the last shot is able to finish off the Yuumi as well for the counter kill, and Tactical getting a decent amount himself.
regardless of that last shot, taking down the cat as well, I think the immediacy of that call by that bot lane to punish that roam was pretty clean. And we've heard Doublelift and Busio talk so much about how Busio's excited. Oh, Doublelift wanted to play with me. That's an extra motivator, right? And when you have that kind of energy coming through, you're expecting a quick build in their synergy over time if everything aligns, and having control over the lane whenever given a possibility.
Yeah, it's also one of those moments where a lot of players say, is this legal, you know, for them to have a Sivir farming the other side while the rest of the team takes a Rift Herald? If you allow that, you know, is this allowed for Tactical to stay over there and actually farm the minion wave? Then that feels so bad, because then Immortals get the Rift Herald, this huge gold advantage on the top side, some tower pushing power, and the Sivir gets to farm that wave and try and keep you off the tower. That would be devastating. So they make him pay for it, say this is not allowed, even though there is a cost to it. Kenvi still holding on to this Rift Herald that we're talking about, and looking to defend Ablazeolive before he finds his position to actually use it.
So the leads across these lanes for 100 Thieves extending, because, yeah, Kobe, if Sivir can't farm, when that's part of the whole thing is, oh, she has this great wave player, then you're already denying such an important resource. So bot lane getting ahead. Tenacity also up in farm over on the top side, managed to get a couple of those plates. So chunking down as much as they can safely do here at 11 minutes into the game for 100 Thieves. And only 20 seconds until the next Drake spawns. A win condition that Immortals was going for with that early takedown by Kenvi.
See Kenvi himself coming in to help clear out this vision. I do expect Rift Herald towards mid lane, maybe towards bottom lane, if they're really like, hey, you got to catch up to Zeri here. We need the Sivir in full operation. Ablazeolive would definitely be a good recipient of it as well, though. And Fleshy plus Kenvi doing the support jungle roam, passing through, trying to keep out that vision. But now, second look here as Ablaze trails closer in the possibilities of this setup. Both top laners do have teleports. They are regular teleports that are not unleashed, though, so they would have to teleport to their turrets if they wanted to join.
If they decide to make anything happen along those lines, because Immortals have everyone except for Wukong stunned directly onto Ablazeolive. About to flash away, but they take down Kenvi. Ultimate from Yuumi, pretty good at zoning. Ablazeolive barely surviving. Closer looking to finish it off. The blast cone to create some space for Tactical. 2 down for Immortals, and 100 Thieves can turn back onto the dragon.
100 Thieves blow this game up. Ablazeolive gets stunned at the edge of the gravity field. Bjergsen traps him, and that makes an easy call for 100 Thieves. As soon as Closer sees that, he's like, what? This guy's stuck over here, standing in the gravity field. Easy Sejuani ultimate. Follow that sucker up. They nail Kenvi as Kenvi tries to engage and save the mid laner that just got locked up. But it only results in both the jungler and the mid laner going down, so objective over to 100 Thieves. Then the Rift Herald is going to get no turret plates of value, drastically reducing the early value that Immortals even got out of that play where they swapped it up towards the top side. So 100 Thieves already starting to look at their paychecks, and look at this. It's just a regular old gravity field. Can't even walk just towards the edge of it to get out. Not enough move speed. Gets caught on the end, and Kenvi goes in, sacrifices himself. Still going to lose, though, as Closer will flash over the Azir while to finish off Ablaze. And pick up the dragon in the aftermath. 100 Thieves back at it!
Coming back, another stun. Ablazeolive getting cooked. Who knew olives was going to be the greatest ingredient in this cooking stream, as 100 Thieves take him down. Over 4,000 gold lead now.
I love the emotes that have noises attached.
Yeah.
The Bard trumpet here, definitely one of the most flavorful. Ablaze immediately back down again. They know he has no flash. Closer sets it up, goes for the quick gank here on Sejuani. 2 kills for him. Well deserved.
And now the gold in the pockets of 100 Thieves getting heavier and heavier, weighting them down. I hope they've got belts on, because it felt like with Immortals going so particularly towards this early dragon stacking, as soon as they were there, you almost feel that, oh, they're pretty committed to this, and the punishment from 100 Thieves has allowed them to really create an advantage of this game, encroaching upon 15 minutes.
Yep, already getting very early objective bounties. That is not a good sign. At 14 minutes, when you get the earliest notification that you got objective bounties in your favor, that is not a happy feeling. Yes, you know, oh, if we magically make something happen and we're able to steal away an objective or something, you can get an extra payout. But this is the game's way of telling you you have been utterly destroyed early game. Immortals, see if they can actually cash one of those objective bounties out. Starting with the bottom lane.
Polymorph and big. It's not enough. Tenacity does go down, so Immortals starting to pull a little bit here down in bot lane. All the while, Bjergsen positioning over top should be able to take this turret, but with the numbers down bot for IMT, they're able to make a little bit of leeway.
Yeah, that's actually going to be huge. Tactical fill out this extra minion wave. Next one that arrives, you can actually finish up the turret, get that objective bounty. Actually, they've disappeared after the kill. There we go. Objective bounties have fallen off, so they already got close enough. He's still going to get the tower, though. Nice escape from Ablaze this time. Dodges away from the Sejuani ultimate. Sivir going to eventually get that solo tower gold on bottom side. Still doing a good job here for 100 Thieves, pushing it ahead, though.
Kenvi does have the opportunity to escape here on the Wukong. Last cone over. We're at that point in the game where now Busio is spending some time with Closer as he moves through to try and safely clear out this jungle. 2 turrets down compared to the 1. And at least Immortals creating some conditions for themselves after what was looking like a pretty swingy couple of minutes.
Yeah, I like it, trying to push on bottom side, get more money into the Sivir. That's now the hopes here. They do obviously also have very good scaling 5-on-5 options for later. But 100 Thieves, as we mentioned from Champion Select, they're the ones, they get the early snowball, they use that power to get the last of the outer turrets down already. Only 16.5 minutes into this game. And Dragon going to come up in another 50 seconds. They've got plenty of time to recall, go grab those extra control wards. Bjergsen filling out the extra minions on this top side, and it's gonna be difficult for Immortals to actually get their way really back into it.
100 Thieves kind of pushing their own line of scrimmage forward because of the way that they're pushing these waves. It makes it even more difficult for Immortals to come through to set up warding properly.
Yeah, now that all the outer towers are gone for Immortals, makes it a lot more difficult, like you're saying, to push out the side waves. Ablaze gonna take a nice little chunk here. Show some respect for the Crocodile.
Crocodiles, I spent a lot of time with Crocodiles recently, actually. They're pretty cool, but Renekton's still my fave. And Tenacity doing a formidable job, 181 CS for himself, and nearly 5k gold lead for 100 Thieves. Collapsing upon this Grey currently, are Immortals not wanting to contest.
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job here, 100 Thieves. Making it so risky for Immortals to push out that 100 Thieves are both increasing the gold lead and retaining control of the neutral objectives, stacking their dragons for themselves. So marginal increase on the gold lead. Now Ornn has gotten the wave up to the top tower, but 100 Thieves are using this time to push pretty heavily here on bottom.
Olive has the help of Fleshy if need be, and Tactical over in mid lane having to make his way over. Bjergsen with that insight, ready to shift as well. This is the second Rift Herald of the game. First one picked up for 100, and it's nice when you can get that charge onto the second turret to try and get some initiation here. And Immortals doing their best to clear.
Meanwhile, they've got Bjergsen pushing mid, so this Viktor gonna annihilate this mid wave. It looks like they're trying to collapse on him with the Ornn, but they'll see the Ornn walk over this ward now. There we go. Shouldn't catch anybody in the pincer.
The elimination of that second turret in the mid lane, it also shortens the distance that as Bjergsen you have to travel if you do have to escort the rest of the team. So being able to more comfortably sit there to push that forward, and Immortals losing more control of their map at this point. Look how aggressive the wards were able to become because of 100 Thieves bot push.
The next 4 minutes are kind of the determining factor here for if this game is going to get finished out cleanly as well. Because Immortals, if they're able to just calmly farm all 3 lanes without overextending, giving up any more deaths, they can just catch these minion waves. There's nothing to pull them super far out into the danger zone. Yes, Baron is available, but Baron's not going to go down super quickly, so should be pretty easy for Immortals to keep enough vision to defend against a Baron rush while not extending anybody too far to actually get killed. So if they can do that, Next 4 minutes, go deathless and retain farm, catching the minion waves before they get smushed into the secondary towers. Then that would be their way right back into it.
Their goal, nobody get caught out. Nobody give anything over unnecessarily. Patience is the name of the game for Immortals. Lots of items already completed, the mythics along the line. We have the second item power spike for tactical coming in on Sivir. They've had such an attempt to allow him to farm up and get to that late game potential that they need for these fights.
Yeah, he's still gonna have a really hard time getting through this Sejuani and Renekton, so he's definitely looking towards the end stages once he can get his Infinity Edge. A flash forced here. Closer goes to the Ablazeolive again and does get the cooldown plus the tower.
A trade of the Glacial Prison for that flash. Teleport coming through from Immortals as well. Can be somewhat chunked in the Ornn Horn. Tries to get one but cannot. Doublelift still with Cat on his back is doing damage. Tenacity into the backline he goes but should be getting burned. Revenge manages to survive but stunned on the outset. Look at that ultimate coming on through with the Empress Divide. Ablazeolive into some trouble. Wild Growth targeted onto Tactical but it cannot keep him up. Doublelift doing way too much damage. Closer still survives it all, and 100 Thieves kill 3 to come out on top in that fight.
You could see the comms in action too. Bjergsen was waiting at his tower in top lane for almost 5 seconds there, waiting to see if he actually needs to pull the trigger on the teleport, because 100 Thieves were almost winning that 4v5 fight as they start to kite back. So look at the minimap right now. Bjergsen has his recall going. He's watching, he's waiting, they're talking, hey, do we need to teleport on this? Do we need to teleport? He cancels his recall. He's still watching, Tenacity kites back. 100 Thieves are trying to decide right now, do we fully disengage or do we go for the turn? Boom, they make the call, go for the turn, teleport Bjergsen in. Nice little timing there as Closer goes to the engage. He gets 2 of them so low that Bjergsen can come in, cut off the backside. Doublelift just flashes back. They finish off the 2 front members as well. Both carries here from Immortals. No safe space to work with as Bjergsen had just enough mana to go in there and finish up the dirty work. They demolish Immortals. Doublelift on the Zeri.
Oh.
Got the early start, got the first blood. Welcome back to the LCS, my friend.
The damage right there looking like a long distance track compared to those short bars of the rest of them.
Looking kind of like the Golden Guardians message. With the single bar.
Already
Doublelift's got a
out
message of his
technically.
own.
Yeah. It's the meta way of trying to communicate what they're doing here. But 100 Thieves have had a lot of great moments. As you mentioned, the patience, Kobe, of these players, Bjergsen being able to make the tactical play against Immortals on when to enter that fight and capitalize upon all the chunking that the rest of the team did. And now sitting pretty out of the bush they go. Ablazeolive looking for the shuffle on in, gets a knock up and more onto Tenacity. Final chapter going out across the rest of them. And Revenge has to back off. Kenvi has to back off. Doublelift has to venture on shoreward. And Fleshy zones out of the fight. Of course, we have the passive from this here to end this right now. But they took out Kenvi. It was a trade of 1 for 1.
That's really close. Yeah, that extra healing there from the Radiant Virtue from Revenge on the Ornn, keeping him alive. I thought it was going to be worse than just the 1 for 1. But both of these top lane tanks, both healing mythic items for themselves. The Gore Drinker kept Tenacity alive for a lot longer, and then the Radiant Virtue as well kept the Ornn alive for a lot longer. And in the end, 100 Thieves, we saw, were finishing up the objective afterwards, so they're very happy with it. Kenvi, though, goes in on Tenacity, gets the slow with the smite is enough for Azir to get the knockback, but then Tenacity pops the Gore Drinker, plus the charged up Q to be able to double heal here. And the reinitiation, Gravity Field stuns them both up from Bjergsen as the Yuumi ultimate rooted them in place and set them up for it. So I thought it was going to be even worse for Immortals, but they're able to scramble away with only 1 death. They did lose the extra dragon, and it's already dragon number 3 stacked up for 100 Thieves.
Because while it was only 1 death for Immortals, it was the jungler at that, and 100 Thieves could make the objective play immediately following, meaning they are now on soul point. Not a single Drake grab for Immortals since the first.
All right, Doublelift finishing the Lord Doms as well, so he can work through this Ornn, get through all this armor, get through this Thorn Mail as well. Objective bounties have returned, and 100 Thieves have returned to the Baron. Control ward's already down. They're looking to bait right now, bait Immortals, because they know they can hard force really easily with the Sejuani Yuumi combination. The engage is theirs to take. Flank down here from Renekton, you see Tenacity, he pushed out the wave, heading down to look for it.
Oh, but the fight's starting up. Kenvi in the center of it all is already into terrible position. Ablazeolive gets stunned up by the ultimate. Once more revenge right there with Immortals on his back. They aren't there anymore because guess what? 2 of them died. Flash forward from Tactical to try to get an escape. But look at that damage coming out of Doublelift. Said I got you. I go this way. Go get my AD carry. Don't come this way. I'm just Lulu. Why don't you go get Tactical instead? All right.
You know, sometimes you catch a fish and it's just too small. You throw it back. that one did not meet the weight standards. Doublelift just threw him back. Fleshy, no need to kill that one. He goes after Tactical. The AD carries are what he really cares about. Takes him down.
Doublelift a bit picky about the protein with which he cooks. Decides on Tactical for the best quality. 10K gold lead for 100 Thieves, and the Red Bull Baron buff in tow right now. It's been a good look for them today.
Definitely a good one. Bjergsen as well on this Viktor. Kind of assassinating the backline. This last fight, he was able to chase down Kenvi, and Kenvi looking for some revenge.
Kenvi may not have the name Revenge, but it is in his heart. So if you're Immortals right now, and you're seeing what 100 Thieves have been able to do, well, let's actually take a look at what they're able to do moments ago.
Yeah, so they just saw Renekton towards top side, so they're thinking, we don't have a lot of time to work with. Maybe we go now, can we get a good initiation? Kenvi gets almost 2-shot there when he goes in on the Wukong onto the Sejuani. He deals negative damage to the Sejuani and then almost dies. Bjergsen chases him down. They want to finish it.
Yeah, now with the buff and everything, 100 Thieves are feeling pretty confident as they push forward. Revenge throwing his body at the rest of them, stunned up and blasted down to give his life here. And with the push of Tenacity over on this bot side, 100 Thieves can spread their pressure across 2 lanes to take these towers simultaneously and have Immortals with their tails between their legs.
And their base in rubble as well. 2 inhibitors instantly destroyed. 100 Thieves not looking to let it go too long.
They're feeling good about this one. They've got the buff, they've got the play, they've got the smiles on their faces, I'm sure, looking to try and take their first win here. Nexus turret number 1 falling, the second one to boot. Kenvi goes in. They have to do something to try and prevent the continuation of this stand. But Closer looking to set up for the rest of the team, forcing a flash out of Fleshy here. So many minions coming in as well. The supers coming from mid lane means they'll have that additional support if they decide to stay on by, but the rest of the team has spawned for Immortals.
Tenacity gonna teleport right back in and finish it right now. They've got a lot of money, but they've got more power.
They're going for it. 100 Thieves, eyes on the Nexus here against Immortals. Just trying to outpoke them. Tenacity going into the back lane, gets a little bit of a sweep onto Tactical, but on the opposite side, plays off with the last attempt, gets eliminated. Doublelift still in pursuit, turning 2 more players into their fountain. 100 Thieves dismantling Immortals Nexus as slow as they can to get the kills, putting their first win of the season on the board.
Doublelift with some nice flashes this game. They were unable to touch him. And 100 Thieves demolish Immortals.
What a game for them to come through with, a type of pick that people were wanting to see for Doublelift. They said, let him cook. Let's see what can happen. And the way he was able to land that damage in the end, ended up securing the victory.
Well done here, well executed from 100 Thieves very early on as well. Making the call, Busio and Doublelift go for the tower dive when Immortals try and pull off the top lane play for the Rifttail with their support swap. And that's going to be the first dub for this new 100 Thieves roster.
A roster so hyped by all, just considering the personalities coming through. Back onto the stage once more. 2 goats. We got so many goats. We're starting a petting zoo here at the LCS, and I'm sure fans are happy to see that first dub.
Yeah, definitely a bit disappointing for Immortals here for the start. Of course, they were looking to come out a lot stronger. Kenvi, especially against his old teammates there, his old organization. A lot to review here for the IMT squad, but I know that they are up for it. They know that they have better stuff to show this split.
And that's where, when thinking about what we've heard of the temperament of the team, the fact that they all do get along, they're really enjoying their time together, that fosters the best environment to be able to review these games and make changes going into week number 2. So for the Immortals fans, I think that's exactly what they want to see. What do you learn from these first stage games back? There's still a lot to be said about that when it comes to just kicking off the season.
Yeah. Good proactive gameplay there from 100 Thieves. Pushing this one ahead fairly quickly. As we move ahead in our day, only one game left.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like this day flew on by. It was also nice to see this look from 100, considering that we've talked about Closer and the different looks we've had, seeing Viego, and seeing him just come in the Sejuani, really able to set up a lot of plays for the rest of the team and make it work.
Yeah, definitely a good look from him. I know a lot of the junglers do not enjoy playing Sejuani, Sejuani duty, but doing quite well.
Closer is somebody that will do it for the team, do it for the team, do it for the cooking. But as far as everything here on the LCS coming up, Bwippo breaks down this game with Doublelift, and Kobe does a live this or that before FlyQuest takes on Dignitas. So that'll be fun. See ya.
Well, something to say to my team, I hope some of you guys can get your visas soon, because I miss you, and I want to play with you guys.
I haven't even met everyone from the team yet because of visa problems, so I guess I just hope that we get to play together sooner than later and we can make the season work.
What I would like to say to my team is I miss our Moot and Ignar already.
Guys,